So let's talk about art and what it means when we reflect it through the lens of AI. We start with a candid message from Google's CEO about artificial intelligence. He says it will impact everything. On last night's 60 Minutes, CEO Sundar Pichai gave Scott Pelley an inside look into the company's new AI chatbot. It is called Bard. Bard spent several months reading everything on the internet to create its own communication model. Pelley asked Bard to do a few simple tasks. Then he asked Bard to get creative with a famous short story, which Bard did with mind-blowing speed.
We played with a famous 6-word short story often attributed to Hemingway.
For sale, baby shoes, never worn.
Wow.
The only prompt we gave was finish this story. In 5 seconds.
Holy cow. The shoes were a gift from my wife, but we never had a baby. They were...
From the 6-word prompt, Bard created a deeply human tale with characters it invented, including a man whose wife could not conceive and a stranger grieving after a miscarriage and longing for closure.
I am rarely speechless. I don't know what to make of this. Give me...
We asked for the story in verse. In 5 seconds, there was a poem written by a machine with breathtaking insight into the mystery of faith. Bard wrote, "She knew her baby's soul would always be alive." The humanity, at superhuman speed, was a shock.
All right, so we're going to talk about this, but let me also point out the 60 Minutes also visited a AI lab. It's Google's AI lab. It's called DeepMind. DeepMind has made a number of incredible breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. Among them, Scott watched robots that play soccer. Here's the thing. They were not programmed to play. They learned the game by themselves. I know, Gayle, I know. Wow. It's wild. Google's Bard is also teaching itself new things, which the company can't even explain, and that you might find a little scary. Listen.
Some AI systems are teaching themselves skills that they weren't expected to have. How this happens is not well understood. For example, one Google AI program adapted on its own after it was prompted in the language of Bangladesh, which it was not trained to know.
We discovered that with very few amounts of prompting in Bengali, it can now translate all of Bengali. So now all of a sudden, we now have a research effort where we're now trying to get to 1,000 languages.
There is an aspect of this which we call, all of us in the field call it as a black box. You don't fully understand. And you can't quite tell why it said this or why it got wrong. We have some ideas, and our ability to understand this gets better over time, but that's where the state of the art is.
You don't fully understand how it works, and yet you've turned it loose on society?
Yeah, let me put it this way. I don't think we fully understand how a human mind works either.
All right, so we've been talking about, I know, it is...
I see why Scott was speechless. Honestly, it's a little scary to me.
It's fascinating. It is frightening. I'm of the mind, and Sundar Pichai mentioned this, that to me, this art that it's creating, I don't know that I'd call it humanity. To me, it can learn how to play sports, but can it respond to little Johnny Sylvester in 1926 as Babe Ruth did and promise to hit him a home run and then go on to hit 3 home runs in the 1926 World Series for little Johnny, and then the kid miraculously recovers? Can it float like a butterfly and sting like a bee and jive Sonny Liston to win the heavyweight champion in 1964?
Sundar's a very smart guy, but even he was like saying, I don't know all the answers here to everything that is happening.
The art question
it's a little... Listen, I watched the movie Megan on the plane over the weekend.
Yes.
Now, I know people are going to laugh at me and say, Gayle, that's a movie. But I thought it raised some very interesting questions, and I know it's just a movie.
Well, Sundar is correct in saying that we don't understand how the human mind works. The difference is we didn't put the human mind here, right? Some other power did. And now we are playing that power, and by their own admission, it's a black box, teaching itself stuff. We don't understand why. teaching himself how to do things. We don't understand how.
Right.
That is frightening.
Yeah.
And to the question, is Bard safe, which Scott asked,
And
the CEO of it, he said, I think so.
I think so.
Based on how we're doing it now.
Exactly.
I think so.
So much to unbundle there. We're going to keep talking about it. But now we got to talk about the Netflix show Love is Blind, which turns out Love is Blind because no one got to see it yesterday. Fans were disappointed when they logged on to watch the highly anticipated season 4 live reunion. A technical glitch delayed this special for more than an hour. Co-host Vanessa Lachey shared this video on social media while they worked out the problem. Watch.
We are sitting here. Apparently, y'all, everybody broke the internet to see this reunion.
We're ready to roll.
So we are ready to roll. We just got to figure this out.
I know people
Well,
were
I'm
hot
like,
that it didn't go.
We are live
planned.
every day. Without a net.
Jordan Klepper, stay with us. Time now for What to Watch. No need to look above. Nate Burleson's back at the table.
Welcome back,
I'm
my
back.
brother.
The band is back together.
A little air hug from everybody. Air hug.
So you've been in Jamaica.
Yep, that's
You've
right.
been in the Bahamas.
That's right.
You've been to Vegas.
I went to Vegas and I visited our affiliate, KLAS. They showed us a lot of
wait,
love.
that's
That's Jamaica
not
right there.
KLAS.
Go back.
That's Jamaica. That's me hanging out with my 17-year-old, and that's the whole crew. My
Your
family.
first time in Jamaica?
First time in Jamaica, and shout out to everybody at Jamaica. They showed us a ton of love. Listen, visit Jamaica. It is one of the most beautiful places.
Was that your wife wearing like the Jamaica flag on
Yeah,
her
that's
swimsuit?
her. You know, we got to represent.
Yeah, legit.
And you were on a raft there? Did you go
I was
zip
on
lining?
a raft.
What did you do?
Yep, I did a little bit of everything. You know, we wanted to go off the grid and then also experience the culture and the food, and that was everything.
So we always joke whenever Tony and I are like, well, when Nate goes on vacation, for the first day, he shows off his abs, shows off his muscles, but by the end of the vacation, after you eating, drinking, we never see you shirtless.
Yeah, I didn't go shirtless on this one because I didn't have my body right.
Yeah, I was like,
What?
Nah. I got that dad bod popping up under here. You know what I mean?
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
I don't believe it. Hey, was it tough to come back? I always find it's great to go on
Oh,
vacation.
Gayle,
but
I miss
was-
you so much. I cried myself to sleep. I said, oh, I can't wait to get back.
Hello,
and see that.
Pinocchio. Hello, Pinocchio. I always think it's great to go away, but it's always nice to come back.
It was.
Don't you think?
It was a long enough trip where I did actually miss being at work. So
Yes.
I'm happy to be back. Happy to be
Yeah,
back.
Yeah.
Also, for a little while, we're missing part of your body. A little bit of a.
We'll talk about that later.
We're going to get into
We'll
that.
call that a tease.
Sad.
It was an accident that happened.
Wait. Missing part of your body?
Yes, yeah. It was a
Yowza.
wild trip.
That's a tease. You guys want to stick around for Talk at the Table later in the show. We're going to try to bring a little joy and light to What to Watch this morning. We have a big update on a story that CBS News has covered for decades. So beginning here first, after being free for 2 years, a Florida man is headed back to prison for murder he says he did not commit. You'll recall 65-year-old Crosley Green surrendered to the Florida Department of Corrections on Monday after losing his final bid to remain at home with his family. Earlier this month, the state of Florida ordered Green to return to prison after the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear his appeal. Green spent 32 years in prison for a murder that he says he did not commit, including 19 on death row. A federal judge overturned his conviction back in 2018, ruling that Green's right to a fair trial had been violated. An appeals court then reversed that ruling. Green's attorneys are seeking either clemency from Florida's governor or parole from the state. Erin Moriarty is going to have a lot more on this case on 48 Hours
You look
this
at the
Saturday.
facts of the case, though, Vlad. I mean,
But they're not looking at the facts. That's the thing. It's all technicalities and paperwork.
Right.
No one's looking at the question of was he innocent in the first
Yes.
place or not.
And even if he receives that clemency or the state intervenes somehow, it's not going to absolve him of this crime.
but he made Tony, a very compelling case about how he didn't do it.
Right.
Many people involved in the case say that he didn't do it.
Some
Is
of
it
the
wrong
jurors
to say?
recanted.
Yes, they did.
Some of the jurors recanted, although I will say that the young woman, now not young anymore, but when she was 19, who pointed him out
Yes.
in the lineup, she believes that he is the one who committed the murder and killed her boyfriend. She still believes that.
Speaking of not young anymore, can you imagine spending 32 years behind bars? Then you get out. He
Then
was
you get
a
out.
free man.
Yeah. Taste of
he was
freedom.
eating ice cream. He was
Yes.
playing with salt. He was living his life
Right.
again, and now he's got to go back.
Go back.
But he kept saying, I have faith in the system. It'll
does.
work
That's
out for
what he
me.
said.
Is it wrong to say I might actually have thought about running?
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Right.
I might have thought about
Absolutely.
running. Looking at going back into prison when you've been there for 32 years, some of them on death row for a crime you say and you believe you did not commit, and evidence shows you did not. I might think about running.
Right. Well, Erin Moriarty is going to have more on this on Saturday for 48 Hours. She's been covering this story since the late 80s.
yeah.
So, yeah, Erin's all over it. Over the years, we've seen some scary moments when intruders got through the fence at the White House, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes Secret Service agents actually draw their guns.
Uh-oh.
It happened yesterday. But this time, authorities got a pint-sized surprise. A toddler A toddler squeezed through the metal fence, briefly entered the White House grounds. Officers quickly scooped up the child. A Secret Service spokesman said the White House security systems instantly triggered Secret Service officers, and the toddler and his parents were quickly reunited.
You wouldn't think a toddler that little boy could fit through those bars, do you?
Oh, they're kind of wide. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm also not surprised that a toddler went for it.
Right, exactly. It's like if there's bars, a baby's going to be like, I'm going to try to go through that.
And watch out, Vlad.
I know
it happens.
I know it does.
Time now for What to Watch with Vlad Duce. But Vlad, if I could, I have a little bit of breaking news from the world of baseball. The Oakland Athletics, who have been in Oakland for more than 50 years, drawing just 11,000 fans on average a game this year in the Coliseum, have signed a deal to build a new stadium in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Near the west end of the Strip.
Wow.
Now, it's not a final. They're going to move there, but they're investing. This is a binding deal to buy the land and build a stadium.
That's big.
It's big news.
It looks like this is happening.
Big things are happening in Vegas.
I love Vegas.
Honestly.
I love baseball. This is like my favorite combo.
I also love the fact that they kept Boogie Wonderland as you were reading that story, because they're moving to Vegas, and if there's a Boogie Wonderland in America, it's got to be.
Gotta be
Las Vegas
Vegas.
just snatching teams from Oakland. We'll take the Raiders.
Yes.
We'll take the
I know.
A's.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Formula One's going to be
Formula
there.
One, yeah. Wow, that is breaking
watch
news,
out.
Tony.
Super Bowl next year.
Oh, man.
Yes, we'll be there next year.
We will be there. Well, maybe you, but
No. Paramount Mountain is going to be there. That's right.
Let's just say this: we all want to go.
That's right. Let's put
all
that
wanna
on the
go.
record. Just put
Yes.
that out there in the universe.
Vegas, I love you.
That's my vision board.
I love you.
All right, let's start here with new trouble for Creed 3-star Jonathan Majors. Sources tell Variety that multiple women have come forward after his March arrest on a domestic violence charge, claiming Majors abused them. The report says these women are cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. In a statement, his attorney told Variety the actor is innocent and has not abused anyone. The statement says they have provided, quote, irrefutable evidence that the charges are false. Majors was arrested last month on charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment after a 30-year-old woman told police he had assaulted her. Following the incident, a series of text messages allegedly sent by the woman was released by Majors' camp. It claims the messages exonerated him, but others who have read them see it differently. Majors is due to appear in court next month, and the future of his career has become uncertain since the accusations. Majors has been dropped by his management and his publicist, as well as several projects that he has in development.
Yeah, and the woman involved in that incident allegedly was involved in a relationship with him. It wasn't just a minor woman, supposedly, but a random woman, I meant to say. But it's just these latest allegations are very disturbing.
They're troubling,
upsetting.
and
Yes.
that's the investigation continues, and we'll see where it leads.
Yes.
It's not looking good. All right, today is April 20th. Gayle, do you know what that is?
I know it has something to do with marijuana.
All right. Tony, I know you know.
It's 420.
It is 420. That's right.
420.
It's a day of celebration for marijuana.
Tony, I know you know.
The latest CBS News YouGov poll finds
No denial over here on this.
He did. He was just like,
Willie Nelson was like, yeah.
Gayle, attitudes are changing, as Vlad is
That's
about
right.
to tell
This
us.
is exactly right. So we have there's a new poll out that shows that
Yes.
Americans' attitudes around marijuana are changing. A slight majority in that poll, 53%, now considers open use of marijuana to be socially acceptable. Now, that's a shift from 2 years ago when 53% told us it was socially unacceptable. So that's kind of a big jump.
Yeah.
We also asked occasional pot users, who knows you use marijuana?
This is revealing, right?
This is very interesting. 44% said most of their friends and their family know about it. 34% say some do and some don't. And 22% say very few or no one. And get this, most Americans in our poll said they would not think less of any person for using marijuana. That includes most of the people who hardly ever or never use marijuana themselves. In other words, they're not
one of those
smokers.
people. I don't think less of Tony.
No.
I have never tried. I've never tried it. I am curious. I have never tried it, but I don't think less.
I'm sure somebody here could help you out, Gayle. Have you never tried it? I'm kidding.
Well, as far as I know,
We're
I'm the
just
only
playing
one in the
with Tony.
building here who's ever attempted it. But I mean, I think it's very revealing. One time in college as an experiment.
Wait, Vlad's just dry snitching on
I
everybody.
know.
I'm sure somebody here
This
can
is
help
one
with
day
that.
I can mock everybody instead of being the object of mockery.
Hello, Jared.
I'm man literally wears a hat with a bud leaf on it some days. All right, I gotta get
wrap. There's so much more to say.
All right,
social media.
let me tone it down for just a little bit. One of the things that gives me great joy is when we get to follow up on some of the amazing people that we get to introduce you to. So in 2020, we brought you the story of an incredible young man. His name, Rayhan Staten. Yeah. He was attending, Gayle, you remember the University of Maryland, and he had a job as a sanitation worker. His coworkers encouraged him to apply to law school. He did, and he was accepted at Harvard. Watch this moment.
All right, I'm clicking it. Congratulations! Whoa. Let's go!
So when we shared Staten's story, it caught the attention of movie and TV producer Tyler Perry. He offered to pay Staten's law school tuition, and he asked that the young scholar pay the generosity forward. Well, what do you know? That's exactly what Staten is doing. Just a month away from graduation, my man reached out to me with an update on his time at Harvard. He shared an experience from last February where he greeted a custodian to see how she was doing. Her response really shocked him. She said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were talking to me. Students would usually rather look at the wall than talk to me."
Oh, wow.
That response inspired Staten to start a nonprofit organization called the Reciprocity Effect to bring support staff and students closer together. The Reciprocity Effect officially launched last Monday with the ceremony to honor and to give light to the support staffers who demonstrate outstanding leadership, community building, and artistic skills.
That is amazing.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Great update, Vlad.
Love you, Rayhan. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. It's Friday, y'all.
I know.
We have a lot to talk about, but before we get to some of our stories, can we just talk about Twitter for just a moment?
Talk about it.
Check.
About the blue check marks. So Elon Musk finally made good on his promise to remove blue check marks from those accounts that were verified. And there are a lot of people who have verified Twitter accounts who have said that they are not going to pay that $8. There are only 3 people. Did you know that he's paying for 3 people? You know who they are?
I heard
LeBron,
Who else?
Stephen King, and William Shatner. He said, I don't know, but but they've all said that they were not going to pay for it. Why this is, I think, problematic for a lot of people, it's not the $8. It's the fact that there are people who perhaps are not always as savvy as those media insiders. We happen to be media insiders, who will see perhaps a tweet. Look at this tweet here from the New York City government, right? So this is really interesting. So the city of New York tweeted, this is an authentic Twitter account representing New York City government. This is the only account for NYC Gov run by New York City government. But then look below that. It says, no, you're not. This is the account. This is the only authentic Twitter account representing and run by the New York City government. So imagine there's another Superstorm Sandy.
Yes.
And you need information. Or imagine there's something even worse, like another 9/11.
Differentiate one from the other.
That was the point of the verified. It's not, I know that people take it to mean that it's an elitist thing and it sets up a caste system in social media. I'm not an analyst. I'm not a media analyst.
Are you going to pay the $8?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to. I haven't tweeted in a month. My wife's been off for a whole year.
Has she really?
Yeah. I was sock puppeting her Twitter account for a while just because she had book promotional stuff, and so that was me, folks.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
But I mean,
we figure that people that know you will know you, and if it isn't, you can easily say, no, that's not me.
There is a way to do that. There's a For You vertical on your Twitter feed that is going to be the people that you follow. It's the one that is, I'm sorry, your following vertical is the one that you want. The For You, that's very chaotic.
But that government example you gave, though, Vlad, is a really good example.
It's
That's something to think about, yeah.